failed. I mean, it succeeded in undermining the candidacy of McGovern, which probably was not going to succeed anyway. But in the long run, to some extent, enough. We don't know what's going to happen here. What's interesting also, though, is that this is also the anniversary of the Statue of Liberty arriving in New York Harbor. And so what we're seeing here actually is three things that have to do with icons of freedom and icons of liberty in terms of what the Capitol symbolizes.
James, back then, 50 years ago, the fallout of Watergate, it was, to some extent, unifying happening because voters picked a lot of Republicans out of Congress and party view that what it had done, and there was some degree of penance there. But now it just seems to be driving the parties further apart. Many Republicans who support the former president, they're just stealing their resolve even further, and we're going in the opposite direction.
Well, I think one has to look at the difference in the media landscape. In 1972, if you turned on your TV or your radio, it really didn't matter unless it was a no-news station. You were going to hear about Watergate, and you were going to probably hear about the role of James Baker, Howard Baker at the time. Howard Baker became, in some ways, a national hero as the conservative Republican, the leading member of the minority on the committee, who sat there in much the same way Liz Cheney is now. But at that time, you didn't have a Fox News. You didn't have social media. You didn't have a way in which Republicans could, in essence, shut out the mainstream media and hear only news that basically is diminishing or not even saying anything about adherence. So in 1972, it didn't matter who you were. If you were interested in politics and contemporary affairs, you were hearing about Watergate.
Still seems like those Republicans, though, were more willing to either pursue this or even, frankly, listen to it. I mean, look at what we have now. So many quotes, so many stories, so many phone calls saying the day of, this is
right.
A bridge way too far, and then, oh wait, let me wait a few more weeks and go to Mar-a-Lago and apologize.
Well, what would happen, just as a hypothetical, if there were no Fox News, and if there were no, in essence, social media space in which people could, in essence, follow news as people interested in contemporary affairs, without countering these hearings. Liz Cheney is a very conservative Republican from an iconic Republican family. Well, how would people be reacting to her leadership here if you had the same kind of media landscape that you had in 1972? I don't know. So to some extent, you have to look at that media landscape. And yes, the polarization is obviously extreme here in a way that you didn't have probably in 1972. One of the things that changed in 1972 is that the Democrat in the Senate or House, who is the furthest to the right, is still to the left of any Republican. And vice versa. There is no Republican to the left of the most conservative Democrat. That is new. Until recently, that had never, ever, ever happened. So you do have an extreme polarization now that obviously is going to affect it.
Are you concerned, James, that this could be going in 50-year cycles where we may perhaps learn lessons here, and that parties who are responsible are held accountable to it, and then we go through a phase of a stable democracy, but then this happens again where we have another person who is willing to cling to power as desperately as they can, and we go through this whole episode again.
One of the things about democracy is that it allows for change. Right? I cycles of history. But there is such a thing as human agency. There is such a thing as change over time. And one of the good things about democracy is that things don't stay the same. Since people have a voice, things presumably can change. So, yes, perhaps even if we resolve this in a satisfactory manner, in 50 years, something else might emerge. And I should say that this was not unimaginable in the mid-20th century, even before Watergate. There were novels written. There was one called Seven Days in May. Even earlier than that, It Can't Happen Here, much earlier than that. There was a fair amount of fiction that actually imagined this kind of situation. So this was not unimaginable. I think what's interesting here also that's different from Watergate is that in Watergate we really didn't see a role of the military. And that is very different in this situation because there's a big issue about why the military wasn't on the Capitol steps. The military, you had a strong military presence, National Guard presence, on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial only 6 months before January 6th during the summer demonstrations. But somehow on January 6th, no National Guard on the steps of the Capitol. So that is one of the other important aspects here that deals with the chain of command that no doubt will unfold. So there are many aspects of this that are very different.
James Grossman, Executive Director of the American Historical Association. James, thanks. More in-depth is on the way. We have another half an hour after the news at the top of the hour.
Have you ever wondered how affordable Mercedes-Benz could be? Come on in and check out our inventory here at Mercedes-Benz of Valencia. We'll do our very best to get you into Mercedes-Benz you've always wanted. Stop in and see us between the 5 and the 14 freeway, or check us out at mbzvalencia.com.
Navien tankless water heaters, the proven leader in condensing technology. Request a Navien because you deserve the best in endless hot water delivery. Learn about Navien tankless water heaters and find a Navien contractor at tanklessmadesimple.com.
8:55, traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on 5, brought to you by Caliber Garage Doors. Here's Brian Nussler.
We have police activity on the 405, southbound, just past Devonshire, here in the North Hills area. This is a pursuit that is coming to an end. I believe it's a stolen BMW. That suspect is pulled over. So 405 south past Devonshire. As of now, all lanes are stopped. We'll take this person into custody and open those lanes up for you. 101, this is going to be our eastbound side just past the 405. Our crash is cleared. That's good news. Bad news is the 101 eastbound heavy from White Oak. That's due to the crash, but again, it is on. We had a little homeless encampment fire right back of the Home Depot. Right off the 101 northbound at Sunset Boulevard. That's where the Home Depot is here, and that fire, the flames definitely, it wasn't anywhere near the freeway, so to speak, but it definitely caught your attention, definitely slowed your drive. Northbound side to Melrose, southbound, you're going to be slow as well as it's past Melrose. We've got something working here on the 101, the 110. Both sides were stopped before the 101. So Caltrans can set up for some road work here. And if you're on that 10 in West Covina, westbound right before Azusa, injury crash, 2 right lanes blocked. And Caliber Garage Doors, your number 1 choice for new garage doors. Right now, $200 off, as well as $7.99 installed, including free bottom seals all the way. Caliber Garage Doors will beat any advertised price with hundreds to choose from at CaliberGarageDoors.com. CaliberGarageDoors.com. Toyota Glendora.com, traffic center, KNX News 97.1 FM.
All right, we're looking at temperatures in Ontario, 65, Arcadia 69, and currently in Cerritos 66, 67 in Universal City at 8:57.
Hey, Mike, what are you doing way up on that ladder? You're going to hurt yourself. I'm trying to unclog these gutters. It's smart. I had water damage from my gutters last year. It cost me $10,000.
Wait, $10,000?
Yeah, and from over here, it looks like water's been pouring over your clogged gutters, and it's probably doing real damage to your foundation. You need to do what I did. Get off the ladder and call Leaf Filter.
Yeah, but I need to get these gutters flowing now.
That's why you need to call Leaf Filter. They'll clean and realign your gutters and install their exclusive micromesh screen system so nothing gets in your gutters except water.
So Leaf Filter protects my house from damage and means no more gutter cleaning for me?
Bingo! Plus, Leaf Filter has an industry-leading lifetime warranty.
Right, thanks, Frank. I'm calling Leaf Filter today.
Don't go another day with your home unprotected. Call 1-844-300-LEAF or go to tryleaffilter.com for your free gutter inspection. Call 1-844-300-LEAF or go to try relief.
Shouldn't you be breathing clean air all day, every day? Hi, it's Dick Hilton. You can help protect yourself with the IQAir's Health Pro Plus air purifier, the #1 large room air purification choice for viruses. These Swiss-made air purifiers were chosen by the Hong Kong Hospital Authority, not only for SARS-CoV-1, but also for SARS-CoV-2, the virus that causes COVID-19. Using patented, industry-leading hyper-HEPA filtration, the Health Pro Plus captures particles down to 0.003 microns, the smallest that exists. Now, and for a limited time only, use promo code RADIO and save 5% on an Autumn or Health Pro Plus air purifier. Visit IQAir.com/US or give them a call at 866-260-7239. That's IQAir.com/US or give them a call at 866-260-7239. Help protect your loved ones. Get the healthy indoor air you deserve today.
First, fast, accurate.
Yes. Southern California's only 24-hour local news and traffic station. KNX News, 97.1 FM. Everything you need, every time you listen.
On local story, mother of one of the El Monte police officers killed this week says LAPD Gascon's policies are to blame. Boston man accused of killing one person during a shooting in Laguna Woods Church is now facing hate crime charges. And it's pickleball versus tennis in San Diego. We'll say more about it on KNX in depth coming up. All right, coming up after CBS News, this is KNX News 97.1 FM. It's 5 o'clock.
CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by NHTSA.
I'm there, Ruben in New York. 3 hearings down, 3 to go. CBS News correspondent Steve Futterman has a preview of what's next for the January 6th committee.
At the next hearings, the committee is expected to focus on the pressure campaign by former President Trump aimed at overturning the results in Georgia, including this phone call with Mr. Trump asking the Georgia Secretary of State to get him the votes he needed.
I just want to find 11,780 votes.
The hearings will also focus on Mr. Trump's public comments both in the days leading up to the insurrection and the day itself when he allegedly refused to order personnel to go to the Capitol to stop the riot. Steve Futterman, CBS News.
And former President Trump Friday used a speech at a pro-faith event in Nashville to call out the January 6th investigation. And he suggested if he was to be reelected, he'd pardon the more than 800 rioters charged for storming the Capitol. The State Department is looking into 3 Americans who've gone missing in Ukraine. Today, Russian media showed video of 2 of the men apparently in Russian custody. A 3rd person has died following a church shooting in Alabama. The 71-year-old suspect is charged with capital murder. CBS's Don Zabakis reports.
Authorities say a 71-year-old man who attended the church occasionally opened fire at a potluck dinner.
At some point, he produced a handgun and began shooting, striking 3 victims.
Police say 84-year-old and a 75-year-old woman were killed. And a 40-year-old woman who's being treated at the hospital died of their injuries.
We've heard this before, transportation. Airlines have canceled more than 3,000 flights and delayed another 14,000 more in the U.S. over the last 2 days. WBC-TV's Zinnia Maldonado reports from Boston.
I'm trying to book a Virgin card to drive to Richmond, Virginia.
Bill Gavin here, so desperate at home, he'd rather spend hours driving and waiting. Not alone at Logan Airport.
I was thinking, could I drive close to home and then rent a car?
Kyle Miller says he would do it, just can't find taxi available.
Everything's sold down even there, so yeah, pretty frustrating.
Logan dealing with more than 100 cancellations and hundreds of delays Friday, according to FlightAware. Fans gave the Golden State Warriors a big cheer as they landed home in San Francisco. The team won their 4th NBA championship in 8 years after their win over the Boston Celtics Thursday night. President Biden says he's looking forward to welcoming the team to the White House. This is CBS News.
Leaving a child in a hot vehicle can lead to their death very quickly. If you see a child left unattended, call 911. If the child looks unresponsive, do what it takes to get him or her out safely. Brought to you by NHTSA.
This is KNX News 97.1 FM. Southern California's only 24-hour local news and traffic station. Good evening, I'm Bob Brill. More KNX in depth coming up, but first our top local story at 9:03. A rally today at El Monte Police Headquarters attended by hundreds of people who look for some of 2 murdered El Monte police
police officers and point a finger at the alleged LAX policies of DA George Gascon they believe have contributed to a surge in losses.
The mother of Officer Joseph Santana, Olga Garcia, told the crowd of close to 150 people the pain of losing your son was magnified by the realization an arrangement with the DA's office allowed the shooter, Justin Flores, to be released on probation on a gun possession charge instead of being imprisoned, which would have prevented the murders of both officers.
As a mother, my life has been destroyed. Joseph was murdered by a criminal that should have been in jail. Los Angeles District Attorney George Gascon gives criminals more rights than police officers. He has insane ideas about giving criminals a slap in the hand.
James Wheeler, the president of the Association of LA Deputy Sheriffs, said the DA's policies are not only responsible for the deaths of the officers, but the elevation of risk to the public at large.
With the current criminal policies that the DA Gascon, justice is not served. The public is placed in danger every day. The criminals are emboldened by his policies and his rhetoric, and the criminals are running the streets, and the outcome is deadly.
Wheeler also raised the level of
add an additional $100,000 recall Gascon campaign.
Tigers are hoping to provide an qualified recall for the November ballot. In Oman, Demetrio, KNX News, 97.1 FM.
Orange County prosecutors say the man accused of opening fire in Laguna Woods Church last month, killing one person and wounding 5, now facing hate crime enhancements. The DA's office says they claim the killing was racially motivated. That means the suspect could face a possible death penalty sentence if prosecutors opt to pursue it. He's expected to be It's 9:05. Traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 5. Good evening, Tanya Campos.
Good evening. We're going to start with a little bit of slowing on that 101 north through Hollywood. Right about Sunset Boulevard, there is a fire burning on the right shoulder embankment area. So it is a little busy through there, and that has been slowing down traffic as everybody slow down to take a look. So we've got some slowing on the northbound side from Santa Monica. That southbound side, it's Friday night, slowed from Melrose to the downtown area. A lot of slowing popped up right now downtown on the northbound 110. That is just at a crawl right now from the 10 to the 101. Looks like Caltrans is getting some cones in place for some road work. We did have a crash on the 101 heading eastbound at the 405. Looks like that has just been cleared. They towed away that vehicle that was involved. A lot of slowing now popping up on the 405 heading southbound probably toward Nordoff, I'd say, just past Devonshire. On both sides of the freeway, you've got some slowing through that area. And then some Caltrans work has you slow through Buena Park on that eastbound Mighty One. From Mott to the 5, you're going to see a lane that is currently shut down. Next report at 9:15 with more reports more often from the Irvine Auto Center, 24-hour traffic center, KNX News, 97.1 FM.
Currently in Chino Hills, it's 66 degrees. In East LA, it's 63. Long Beach at 66, and the city of San Fernando now 64 at 9:07. Time now to continue with our replay of KNX In Depth.
This edition of KNX In Depth is a replay of an earlier program. The program airs live every weekday at 1 p.m.
You're listening to KNX In Depth with Mike Simpson. I'm Brian Ping, in today for Charles Feldman.
You ever played pickleball? If you have, you know how intense it can get, how popular it's becoming.
Well, it sparked a rivalry of sorts with tennis. Some pickleball supporters in San Diego say the city should convert unused tennis courts into pickleball courts. They claim tennis is not as popular, and the city isn't doing enough to help pickleball players. The city says it's bringing in an outside consultant to try to sell this whole thing. John Broderick is president of the San Diego District Tennis Association. He actually plays pickleball himself. John, is it fair to say that tennis isn't as popular? Can't you two, I mean, you play both sports, but can't you guys just get along here?
Yeah, actually we can get along. It's just a matter of the direction and the story that these particular two guys have portrayed that is just not accurate at all. I mean, tennis is not popular. It's grown nationally about 25%, and in San Diego it's about 27, 28%, give or take. And so to say that, I mean, tennis now, because of COVID and all these other outdoor activities, it's more popular now than at any time since the 70s. So that's saying a lot, and then for these guys to now come and claim that's the reasoning to take over tennis courts, for that reason, it's just insane.